Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. Hello. It's so good to have you here again. Yes, again, I believe you've been going through the lessons and you've been learning a lot. If this is your first time, you are very much welcome and you are very much valued. If you would like to participate in what we're doing, we're currently going through a course on JavaScript, which is on freecodecamp.org. If you're a new programmer, if you are upcoming, if you would like to sharpen your programming skills, this is the best place for you. So just go ahead and subscribe and then go through our previous videos. We've been on this journey and this is like the 95th lesson. Yeah. So you could go to our previous lessons, starting from lesson one and go through the videos. You can also follow on freecodecamp.org. I usually put a link in the description, so you could just go ahead and start the course. It's completely free and follow us as we go. If you have any challenges, you can go through the videos, and if the videos are still not clear, you could also drop a comment and I will attend to it ASAP. Thank you, and let's go into this course or this lesson. So this is record collection. I'm loving what I'm seeing. It looks like a lot. Yeah, I believe this is like a challenge. So let's see. Yeah, it is a challenge. So you are given an object literal representing a part of your musical album collection. Each album has a unique ID number as its key. Okay, I just want to mention this before I go on. If you're looking to, if you're just starting out in programming and you really want to build a career in it, I advise you to embrace problem solving because that is basically what this career path is all about. You're going to keep solving problems. So don't look at these lessons like, oh, I'm not seeing anything cool. I'm not seeing colors. I'm not seeing, all those cool stuff. You'll see them. And this is actually part of it. You're going to see them as you go. But do not neglect these problem solving challenges. It's such a big part of this software engineering career. Embrace them and enjoy them. All right. So I'll um I'll continue with the lesson. So you are given an object literal representing a part of your musical album collection. Each album has a unique ID as its key and several other properties. Not all albums have complete information. You start with an update records function that takes an object's literal records containing the musical album collection, an ID, a prop like artist or tracks, and a value. Complete the function using the rules below to modify the object passed to the function. Alright, so let's just read this again. You are given an object literal representing a part of a musical album collection. Each album has a unique ID number as its key and several other properties. Not all albums have complete information. So you start with an update records function that takes an object literal records containing the musical album collection, an ID, a prop like artist, a prop that's like a property like artist or tracks, and then a value. Complete the function using the rules below to modify the object passed to the function. Okay, your function must always return the entire record collection object. If prop isn't tracks and value isn't an empty string, update or set the album's prop to value. Alright, if prop is tracks but the album doesn't have a tracks property, create an empty array and add value to it. If props is tracks and value isn't an empty string, add value to the end of the album's existing tracks array. If value is an empty string, delete the given property from the album. A copy of the record collection object is used for the tests. Okay, this seems a bit vague. Well, let's go ahead and see the function that is being okay. Update record, right? Function and yeah, there it is. Return record. So we are asked to we must always return the entire um record collection objects. So let's start. So we have about four parameters: records, ID, prop, and value. Okay, so I guess we're going to be creating our own object here. Right. So a function must always return the entire record collection if prop okay if prop isn't okay, prop is one of the parameters here actually. And okay, so here the function is called with four arguments: record collection, the ID, the prop, and here they're saying that if prop isn't tracks and value isn't an empty string, update or set that album's prop to value. I'm trying to understand what they're saying. Then if prop is tracks, but the album doesn't have a tracks property. This is interesting. Okay, this is the whole record that is being passed into this function. Okay. Okay, let's just take everything line by line, one at a time. So your function must always return the entire record collection object, which is already being done here. But then we have to work on this. If props isn't tracks and value isn't an empty string, so let's start by putting a condition. If prop is not equal to tracks, right? And value is in an empty string. Let's just do it straightforward, and then as we make progress, we'll find out how to make it look better, or how to make it look better. Yeah, how to make it look. Did I just say look better? Yeah, look better and neater. All right. So we are asked to update or set the album's props value. So that so we're gonna have something like records. Set what? Set the album's prop to value. Okay, set that album's prop. I refuse to be confused. If prop isn't tracked and value isn't an empty string, update or set that album's prop. What album's prop? Okay, let's go up and see. What? Okay, I think this is what they mean, right? Prop to value. Hope So imagine props is like artist, right? So we're gonna have something like uh no, this is not correct. Records prop. So assuming we have this, which is what we have right now. So it's gonna look for a property called artist and then give it a value of ABBA. But there is no direct property of our record collection that is called artist. So I believe I have to um use their IDs to get them. So this way this is not correct. Okay. So I should have something like um ID first of all, like this before getting the particular property, right? This makes more sense because we have their IDs are used to identify them, and then when you get an ID, you can now get other properties like album title, artist, and tracks. So I guess this is better. So the next condition we're given here, I think I have to put an else here. Or should I just say no? If if prop is tracks, but the album doesn't have a tracks property. So if prop is equal to tracks and but the album doesn't have a tracks property. Interesting. How do we how do we type that? How do we express that in JavaScript? The album doesn't have. I believe there's this method, right? That is used to check if a property exists in an object. Please, can someone tell me if you're watching this right now? Can you remember? We've gone through that in this course sometime some weeks back. If you remember this, wow, I'm going to be amazed. Okay, so let me try to think about it, and you should also try to think about it. um, to check if an album doesn't have a tracks property, or the album doesn't have a tracks property. So it's going to be something like record. Mm, ah, my goodness. Okay, I'm just going to take a few minutes or few seconds to Google it shamelessly. Yes, there's no shame in Googling. There's no shame in checking for anything on Google. Okay, to check if an object has a property in JavaScript. Yeah, has own property. Alright, so we'll just simply say has own property. What's it called? Um, maybe it doesn't have the tracks property. Tracks. Hope on track. Oh, see? Then it's also create an empty array and add value to it. What? Create an empty array. Okay. And add value to it. Hmm. How is this going to happen? Array and add value to it. Okay. Something seem right. Okay, this one is supposed to be like if it doesn't have. So let's use the negation, this the not operator, right? Not. Create an empty array if prop is tracks, but the album doesn't have a tracks property. Create an empty array and add value to it. So what are we supposed to do with this empty array? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So I guess we have to now assign this array to the tracks property of our record. Okay. Um ID the tracks equal to array. Okay, I feel like naming these tracks. I should not make it more descriptive. This is fine for now since we're still testing the waters. Okay, the third condition says if prop is tracks and value isn't an empty string, so if prop is tracks, I believe you just noticed what I noticed. Okay, I didn't just notice this, but I believe you've noticed it. Like we are seeing similar conditions here, so you may use it to it may be a good idea to merge them into one condition, but that'll be later on. Uh, if prop is tracks and value isn't an empty string, add value to the end of the album's existing tracks array. So okay, I believe we're still under this. Okay, if prop is tracks and value isn't an empty string. Wow, this is like that's the most confusing thing I've seen today. um, value isn't an empty string. Hmm. They're asked to add value. Okay, to the end of album's existing tracks array. So record ID dot tracks dot push value. I hope this is making sense. So they're saying that they want us to add value to the end of the existing tracks array, something like this now. They want us to add the value to it. That is if tracks is or if value is not an empty string. Alright. Then the last one says if value is an empty string, delete the given property from the album. Is an empty string. Oh, it's an empty, so it's supposed to be just equals. So equals an empty string. Delete the given array. I think I definitely remember how to delete property. Yeah, I do. So we just have delete given property from the album record. So I've been making mistakes here. This is plural records, prop. So yeah, and okay, let's look at this and make sure that it's, it looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and console the log this. I'm not even sure what the result should look like this time around. Okay, we have some clues or some clues here, right? After update record collection, the action should be the string ABBA. Okay, okay for 5439. Let's see if that changed. Record collection, right? So if 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 the record of 5439, if its artist is not ABBA, then we are wrong. And we'll just go ahead and debug. So 5439. Whoa! Well, we have ABBA here. Let's see what we had previously. What did we have here? Previously, it was okay, there was nothing there, but now we have a new property with the value of ABBA, and this is just beautiful. So imagine this feeling of getting it right, even when you're not sure what you're doing. Okay, let's go ahead and see the second clue that we're given. After update records, the 5439 tracks, take a chance. Okay, let me just go ahead and copy this here so that we can make sure that we're getting the right thing because this is different from this. So let's use this. Take a chance. Okay, so it says that track should have the string take a chance on me as the last and only elements. Hmm. Okay, last and only element. We are wrong here. Haha, we are wrong here. Okay, last and only element. What are we getting wrong? What are we getting wrong? Oops. We violate a, a condition. Uh, let's see. It says tracks. So it says that if prop is tracks, but the album doesn't have the tracks property. 5439. It has a 5439. Okay, it does not have a track property. Okay, so create an empty array and add values to it, which is exactly what I did here. Create an empty array and add values to it. So whichever condition is do we have here that matches what we have here. If prop is tracks and value isn't an empty string and it is not, add value to the end of the album's existing track array. Okay, so I can see why we're having to take a chance on me values inside our element or inside our array because these two conditions are met here and both of them are being executed, like the body. So for this first one, we create an array and put in the value, take a chance on me, and then we set it to the tracks property. And then here again, we push the same value of take a chance on me into that same tracks property. So I guess there's something we're not doing right here. What is it? It says if prop is tracks, but the album doesn't have a tracks property, create an empty array and add value to it. So I think this is the time to merge these two conditions into one. All right. So because they didn't explicitly ask us to do this. The only thing we asked to do is this one. So let me remove this for now. Then I'll say instead of having this here, I'll just remove this and then create another condition here. Right. So if as own property or if it does not have the track property, right? Then this one says if value isn't an empty string, so I'll just take the same up here. Create an empty array and add value to it. Okay, if it doesn't have a tracks property, create an empty array and add value to it. Then if prop is tracks and value isn't an empty array, add value soon. Why does this, if it doesn't have a tracks property, create an empty array and add value to it? This is exactly what I've done here, alright? But then this tracks will have no use if I leave it this way. I'm having an error here. Cannot read properties of undefined within push. So where is this coming from? So I guess it gave us that error because it didn't have the tracks property yet. So I just created that here. This is creating, I guess I should remove this, add value to it. But that was the instruction here. We should create an empty array. Oh my goodness. And add value to it. Is it English that is a problem here? Okay, let's see. Right now we have take a chance on me and it is the only element. But something still feels wrong here. Okay, let's leave it this way. Let me go back to this. Artist should be the string ABBA, right? This is still correct. Okay, so it seems that these two we've been able to get these two um clues to help us, right? And it's giving us what it should give us. So it says update, this is it should not artist should not be set. So let's see. It should not be set. Let's see, that's for 2548. Okay. Artist should not be set, right? That's what it said. 2 2 2 4 2548. Artist should not be set. And we have Bon Jovi here. Okay, something is definitely not right. So let's go ahead and see what we did not do well. So for here we have artists, our prop is artist, right? It says that if prop isn't tracks and value isn't an empty string, but our value is an empty string. Let's make if value is an empty string, prop isn't tracks and this is like and. But here we have props to be artists. So this doesn't hold for us. This doesn't hold either. This doesn't hold either. So it should be this. If value is an empty string, we need the given prop property from the album. And in this case, value is an empty string. So we are asked to delete. Okay, I see the problem here. I forgot to use the ID. Yeah, so it should work now. So for 2548, say what? I'm getting nervous. It's taking too long. Okay, so artist should not be set. So when we check our 2548, right? Artist is not present. I don't know if artist should not be set is different from artist should not be present because I felt like what they meant here or what they mean here is that artist should be present, but then it should not have a value. But in our case, it is absent, completely absent. Okay, let's just let's just go on. Hopefully that's what they mean. Alright. Artist should not be present, artist should not be set. Okay. Then this one it says track should have the string addicted to love as the last element. So it may not be the only element, but it should be the last element. Let's see. So that is for 1245. The ID of 1245. 1245. Okay, then it is. Then track should have the string addicted to love as the last element. Okay, why is the only element and it is also the last element? What do we call this? Alright, let's see what we had previously in the beginning. 1245. Okay, it was completely empty. And now we have addicted to love. I'm just wondering why they said it should be the last element. Okay. Uh of this is should have the string 1999 as the first element. is for 2468. Okay. As the first element, when they mean first element, it means that it's supposed to be like an array, right? But mine is just a string. Okay, no, I don't think it should be an array. Is this something I'm okay? I don't think I read this correctly. It says track should have the string 19. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, 1999, but then album title 1999 doesn't look, it seems weird. Seems like something is off there. I'm not sure I want to dig into that right now. Okay, okay, okay. It's also the same thing here. Okay. All right, we are on track. Okay, so it says the track should have 1999 as a first element visible. Then track should not be set. I think I've done this before. We have done this. 2548. Okay, okay, this was for artists, and now this is for tracks. Beautiful, beautiful. These guys are going to confuse themselves. Okay, update records should have track should not be set. That's for 2548. Where can we find 2548 now? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, and track. So we don't have tracks here. So I believe this is correct. And the last and last. Okay, let's see. Yeah, album title should be the string grid type. That is for 1245 grid type. Oh my goodness. So I think we've passed all the checks. Should we go ahead and run? Or should we just maybe I should do this in another lesson because we're taking so much time here. This might not be correct. This might fail. This might be wrong. This might not work. I might be dumb. Alright, so this is one thing that we should know as software developers, especially if you're coming up, you're learning. Mistakes are part of part of the journey. Of course, it's not just in software engineering, in every aspect of life, whatever you're doing. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself because I am posting this live, and if it doesn't work out well, people might say, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing, she's not so good, she's not that good, maybe she shouldn't have a YouTube channel. No, just ranting, but for real, there is room for mistakes, alright? No matter how big you get, you always make mistakes. The important thing is your attitude to those mistakes. Have the right attitude, learn from them, grow, move on. That's all. Shikina, like the Hausa people say. So even if you make a mistake, don't give up, right? You can cry, you can feel bad, but don't let it stop you. Learn from it. If you have to ask someone for help, you have to go online, whatever it takes, do it. You will always win once you learn not to quit, once you learn not to give up. Persistence is a very good attitude when it comes to it's an important attitude to have if you want to succeed. Persistence. Don't give up, alright? So with my little with this my little speech, I hope I have now convinced you that even if this doesn't work out, you can still come back to my YouTube channel. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Yay! It worked. Okay. Alright, so So what just happened here is not it's not a bad thing, right? It is very common. It's called debugging. You spend hours on something very little, and in the end or, or you discover that the only mistake you had was the only mistake you made was um you might just like a very silly mistake, and it made you stay for hours looking and looking and looking. So that's part of the journey, right? So I'm glad this worked. I hope you learned something. Even if you didn't understand anything here, just learn that you should not give up until you get to your destination. Yeah, but for real, if you didn't learn anything here, I would advise you to watch the video again and then maybe ask questions in the comment section. Yeah, so this will be the end of this lesson. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, tell your friends about this wonderful channel. And I'll see you in my next video.